What's going on, everybody? It's Derek from Three Bells, and we're going to go through our captain's meeting for the Trifecta, which is only 2 days away. Hard to believe it's already here. First things first, we look forward to seeing everybody on Friday. Please watch this whole video so you get an idea of everything that needs to happen before you get here and how the events are going to play out for the weekend. First things first, please update Fishing Chaos. There is a new version of the app. Please update it before Friday. All right. Tournament starts at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. Lines are out on Sunday at noon. We please ask that you read and familiarize yourselves with the rules. I'm going to go through some basic parts of the rules. Please read through the entire rules. I know it's long. Most of it does go over how to properly take a picture of your fish, I should say. And it also gives you a breakdown of the kind of point deductions that you'll see for different odds and ends. First and foremost, this is a CPR style tournament. We encourage quick and safe release of all fish. That being said, anglers are allowed to harvest bluefish and fluke. If you do harvest a striped bass, that's an automatic disqualification. This has been a rule of ours for quite a long time now. As we try to help grow the fishery of striped bass, we highly encourage that even if you do catch a slot-sized bass, that you return it to the water. If you don't, you'll be disqualified. Captain's bag pickup will be from 12 to 5 on Friday. All right. At this time, your measuring boards will be checked for accuracy and readability. We want to make sure that everybody has a measuring board that fits within a certain guideline, and make sure that we can read it. If we can't read the numbers on your board, then the judges can't make an accurate representation of what the fish length is, and then you're not going to have that fish. It'll get disqualified. So, for instance, if you have a hog trough and the numbers aren't able to be read, we'll hand you a Sharpie to tell you to darken those bad boys up. All right. We just want to make sure that you have a board that the judges are going to be able to make an accurate, reading of what you've submitted, and make sure that everybody has a fair playing field. If your board isn't long enough or your board doesn't meet the standards, we are providing a tape again in the captain's bag. That can be used, but it must be attached to a rigid surface, which does not allow for any bending or manipulation. The tape cannot be broken either. So if you put it on a paddle like many anglers did last year, that's fine. The only downside is that you can't split your paddle. All right, you can't break the tape in the middle. If you want to shorten the tape on the far end, say that I think the tape's almost like 52 inches. If that's too long, you can short it down to 48. That's fine, but it has to be on the far end. It can't be on the zero end. If you are using a paddle, please make sure that you have that tape measure straight. Make sure it's clean so that tape stays on well. This year's tournament is artificial lures only. All right, this has been discussed on a couple different places already. And some questions have arisen from this. So no strip bait, no chunk, no live, none of that. Baits, artificial such as gulp, fat cows, things like that. Those are all allowed. And we are allowing the use of scents in conjunction with artificial lures. So like you can use Procure if you want to use some Procure on a paddle tail swim bait, totally fine. When it comes to measuring your fish, last year there were some issues, some complaints, questions that kind of came about. This is where most of the rules expanded this year in an attempt to kind of give everybody a better understanding of how to take better measurements of your fish and take better quality photos. So as part of this, eyes of the fish need to be to the left, the mouths need to be closed, and they need to be aligned with the end of the tape or the fence on the bump board. If you're using a paddle and you have drip rings, highly recommend that you have the drip ring align with the end of your tape, so that way you can bump the nose right into, or the mouth of the fish right into the drip ring. Otherwise, same concept, the end of the fish has to bump into the fence on your bump board. With bluefish, please make an effort to get the mouth as close as possible, but obviously don't put your hands anywhere near the mouth that might put you in danger. All right, safety is our number one priority. Try to do your very best to get that mouth closed, but obviously don't put your fingers at risk. We don't want anybody losing fingers for the sake of a picture. We do have a couple Calcuttas this year, one of which is sea robins. Sea robins can be measured flat on the board, on their stomach. They don't lay well on their side. They've got a weird shape to them with their head, so they don't measure easily. Throw them on the board flat, all right on their stomach. Big thing here, make sure you're taking that picture from a top-down angle. If you come at it from a side, the judges are going to have a hard time determining what the length of your fish is with the tail. If you go top-down, we'll have a better idea of how that fish truly measures up. So really make sure that you take the time to make sure that that picture is from a top-down angle. All measurements of fish are to be taken to the top lobe of the caudal tail, or of the caudal fin, I should say, for striped bass and bluefish. And for fluke, it's going to be from the farthest point of the point of the tail. So when you're lining up your fish, if the top portion of the tail is hanging off the board, then we can't make an accurate determination. So make sure that that is going to be on whatever measuring device has been approved for you to use. Make sure that that is on the board so we can tell where it is. This kind of makes it a little bit easier for people who do end up using the paddle because it is so narrow. Fish will be slightly tilted, but it means that you can get the mouth in touch as well as getting the tail on accurately. For black sea bass, the tendril does not count as part of the length for the black sea bass. This is common practice for normal length determination for Connecticut regulations, so we're going to stick in line with that. So make sure that you're not counting the tendril as part of the overall length. If you do, judges will correct your score accordingly. Two other things when it comes to measuring the length of the fish and proper handling. First of all, hand placement. Please do not cover the eye of the fish. So basically try to avoid putting your hand over basically the gill plate forward. If you put your hand over the gill plate forward, the photo will be disqualified, as well as at the base of the tail where it starts to taper from the body into the tail. These are the two most common areas for people to try and get extra length or try and manipulate extra length into that fish. So please don't cover those two areas. You can put your hands anywhere else on the fish. A couple other things. There are two things that must be pictured in every single one of your pictures. First and foremost is your identifier. Everybody is given an identifier. It's in a waterproof sleeve and on a lanyard. There will be an identifier code that comes out at, I believe it's going to come out at 5:30. Fill it in really quick, slide your sleeve. That has to be pictured in every single photo, all right? If it's not in the picture, then we can't tell that it's part of the tournament and that fish will be disqualified. The other thing, and this comes from, again, an issue that arose last year, is the kayak must be pictured in the background of every picture you submit. If we cannot see your kayak in the picture, your pictures will be denied. All right? If anybody has any questions about how to take better pictures and things like that, please let us know. We're happy to answer those for you. Continuing on kind of with some fish submissions and things like that. If you haven't used the Fishing Chaos app, we will put out a secondary video. It'll come out tomorrow on how to use the app, how to submit fish, and how the leaderboards will work. So if you have not used it yet, you haven't gotten to play around with it yet, we will go over that tomorrow. It's a super, super easy process. The nice part is it takes most of the work out of your hands and the app does it for you. Again, familiarize yourself with the rules. They are on the Fishing Chaos page. As part of the registration, there was a question about rules, if you had read them or not. Please make sure that you read the rules. That way you are prepared for the tournament. The last 3 pages of the rules is the waiver that needs to be filled out. Print it out, download the waiver. If you need help getting a copy of the waiver, get in touch with us. We'll email you a copy if we need to. We'll also have some here the day of on Friday, so you can fill them out here if need be as well. If you do not have your waiver on file with us, you cannot fish in the tournament. If you submit fish and we do not have a waiver for you, your fish will be disqualified. All right? If you can't make the captain's bag times, please get in touch with us and we'll coordinate a way to get your waiver to us ahead of time, as well as your measuring board check. All right. We don't want this to be a reason as to why you can't fish the tournament. If you can't make that 12 to anywhere between 12 and 5, we get it. People got jobs, you can't get out of work as early, whatever. Get in touch with us. We want to make sure that this works for you ahead of time. All right, we want you all to fish and have the most time possible on the water. Moving on from that, though, let's talk a little bit about the banquet. Yes, the banquet is back this year. There will be food, all right? I know it sucked last year. We weren't able to have a banquet, but unfortunately, COVID kind of put the squash on that one. So, banquet starts at 2 p.m. on Sunday. It will be held at Samuel M. Peretz Park, which is at 221 West Main Street in Niantic. Food will be provided by Manny's Pizza. Kind of give you guys an idea of what's on the menu. We've got grilled chicken. There will be fruit salad. There will be sausage, peppers, and onions. There's going to be, I believe, baked ziti and garden salad. And there's also going to be a gluten-free pasta salad that will be there as well. So for anybody who has any kind of gluten sensitivity or things like that, we've got you covered as well. We'll also be finding out some other small little details, make sure the other stuff is gluten-free and not cooked on the same surfaces. So if anybody else has any issues with food sensitivities or things like that, we'll try to have that information available to you at the time of the banquet so you can make an informed decision about what foods you're eating. The banquet itself is going to be emceed by Bobby Roast Beef of the Jigs and Bigs podcast. Raffle tickets will be on sale online until 10 a.m. on Sunday. However, they can still be purchased in person up until 2:30 p.m. on Sunday at the banquet. Awards will start right after raffle ticket sales have concluded, and we have enough time to kind of add everybody's raffle tickets into the system that we're using. The drawings are going to be done electronically this year. This makes it a lot easier for us to make sure that we've got everybody in there, and it gives everybody a fair shake every single time. Bobby has a program that he's used a lot. It works super well. It's nice because we put in your name and how many entries you have, and it's a spin to win every time. And when it randomly picks who the winner is, it then removes that entry from it. Another part of the raffle is the BRD skin that has been graciously donated. That will be done at the banquet. Every person is getting one entry and one entry only into the drawing for that. However, to win that, you must be present at the banquet. If your name is called and you are not at the banquet, it goes to the next person. Okay? BRD will have a skinned kayak on display at the Captain's Bag pickup. So if you do come by, or when you come by, I should say, to pick up your Captain's Bag, come check it out so you can get an idea of what the wrap looks, what the skins look like. This year's skin is on our social media, a mock-up of it. You can check it out there. It's awesome. It's a Trifecta themed one. It's got a bluefish, a couple stripers, and a fluke on there. It looks really, really good. If for some reason BRD does not have a template for your kayak, then you will get $1,000 credit towards getting your kayak skinned as well as the template created. If that needs to be done for your kayak, you will have to go down to New Jersey, just a heads up. You'll have to leave it there for a short period of time, but they'll take care of it. They'll template it up and get you all squared away. If you choose not to do the kayak skin, they will offer a credit towards either your truck, your trailer, your car, whatever. They even skin black packs. So they'll pretty much throw a skin on whatever you got from the sounds of it. So seriously, show up to the banquet. That alone is worth, that and the food is worth showing up for. Other than that, though, other raffle prizes, you don't have to be present to win your raffle prizes. If you can't make the banquet, we get it. Some people got to run. Some people got a really long drive. Totally get it. You'll still win those prizes if your name is drawn. We'll hang on to them at the store for you to come down and pick them up at another time. There is also going to be a QR code on a small business card that is in your Captain's Bag. Please check it out. Scan it on your phone to learn more about this year's sponsors. Please show them some love. It's been a crazy last 2 years with COVID and the supply shortages of this year. A lot of sponsors, some of them are struggling to be able to get product to us this year, but they really stretched as much as they could, got us everything that they could. So please, please, please go show our sponsors some love. Show them, that you guys care about the products that they've donated, and we'd really appreciate it. Also, be on the lookout for an email tomorrow through Fishing Chaos. It'll have some discount and coupon codes from some of our sponsors for this year for you guys to use. We will have a coupon code or a discount for the anglers. I know that 24/7 has one. BRD Skin is going to have one. There's a couple other people who have got some coupon codes and discounts and things like that. So if you make sure you're looking out to your email tomorrow morning for that one. If you have any questions or concerns about anything related to Trifecta, please, please, please reach out to us. Thank you all for signing up. We look forward to seeing you, and we hope you have a wonderful time on the water. Oh, sorry. One last thing. How could I forget? This kind of goes back to some things that we've got going on. As some of you may or may not know, we now have our own line of coffee. And on Saturday and Sunday morning, we will be at the Pleasure Beach boat launch, and we will be serving coffee for free to our anglers. So if you're looking for some coffee in the morning, come find us at that boat launch. We'll have as much coffee as we can possibly have. Once we run out for the day. But we'll try and hook all of you guys up with some coffee, save you a trip from having to run to Dunkin' or anything like that. All right. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you.